Howdy folks, welcome back to the Colorado Woodrat channel. This is episode 9 in the truck camper conversion build series. In this episode, I'm going to tackle painting the exterior. I had mentioned in the last episode that I'm trying to avoid using an air spray when painting the exterior. I don't want to get any overspray on any of my neighbors' houses or cars, so I'll roll it on. And I'm going with a textured bed liner. A couple different reasons. First, it's just super durable. But the other reason, probably the more important one, is it can hide any small flaws that have resulted in me welding on components or fixing plug welds or anything like that. I spoke with some of the folks at the manufacturer of the bed liner that I'm using, and they had recommended a particular self-etching primer in those areas on bare metal where they exist. Turns out that the previous self-etching primer that I had been using isn't quite what the manufacturer of this bed liner recommends. So I need to go back and remove all of that self-etching primer that I've already put on there. It's not a big deal. It's a pain, but it's only going to take a small amount of time. I think I'm also going to roll on the rest of the epoxy primer that I had left over from the interior on most of that roof that I've added on. It's worth mentioning that epoxy primer and self-etching primer do not mix. So any area that I have that self-etching primer, I cannot put that epoxy primer on, and vice versa. I'll need to be very careful on where those are applied. I'm also going to go over all those areas that are at risk of being a water leak and just hit them with seam seal, because why not? It'll get covered up with a textured primer, so nobody will be able to tell. It'll just offer me peace of mind. The one area about this whole thing that I'm really worried about is directly behind the cab. I can't really remove the box in order to paint it effectively, and I can't remove the cab without a whole bunch of extra work. So I'm just gonna have to make do, figure out what I can. We'll just have to see if that works. Let's go find out. back at it for day 2 of painting. Cleaned up my abhorrent mess from yesterday. So now I just gotta lay down plastic and get that second coat on. Well, I'm not done yet. I still gotta do the handles on the utility cabinets, but it's almost there. Well, I can add automotive painter to the list of things I am not to go alongside welder. But I did get it done. There were a ton of different contours on the truck that I had to contend with. I ended up cutting in with a brush on a lot of them, rolled out, had to put on multiple different coats because there were a couple different colors. You had the white, and then you had the gray of the primer, and you had that obnoxiously bright green of the self-etching primer. But 3 coats did the trick. Closer and closer to getting this thing buttoned up from the outside. Thanks for watching, folks. We'll catch you on the next one. Stay busy out there.